Hi, welcome to the dish. It's Brooke Cardis.
And I'm Eileen Galvin.
Oh, Yols, tell me about your Luke. Tell me about your Luke.
I'm giving you Prohibition Grandma Goth Flapper vibes. It's complicated.
Your looks are always as complicated, but in like the most glamorous way that makes grown men nervous. Do you know what I'm saying? Like they just
I
get
don't know. I don't know if I need the look to make them nervous because I'm so tall. Men don't like that.
You're just so tall. Oh my God. Well, I love it. How are you, girl?
I'm hanging in there. I have
Yeah.
the first live show on Thursday in quite some time, so it's a mixture of being like we're not so rusty on the choreography anymore, but I'm just like it's like show week and I'm very nervous, you know?
Yeah. No, and it's like
yeah.
show jitters are real, and when you haven't experienced them in so long, it's bizarre.
Yeah, and plus I'm gonna I'm gonna turn 32 on Monday, which is very exciting.
God! Yes!
But I feel like I'm one step closer to the Reaper, and I'm gonna win that chess game.
Girl, yes you are. I love that. Oh my gosh. First of all, timeout. Thought you were turning 31, so wins on wins there. Oh,
girl, thank goodness the Botox is working. Oh.
Honest, I was laughing because one of the photos I found of us today was from your 31st birthday, which was right before the lockdown.
And I got the text and I opened it and I said, oh my God, because it was right before the lockdown. I had so much fun with you that day. You gave me this beautiful pair of earrings that I think was like a pink jasper. They're so pretty.
Oh my God. You are so fun to shop for when it comes to jewelry, by the way. Like, it's so fun. I just love it.
Because you're like, maybe I should go smaller is a thing that was like, never said.
Like, it's literally two of these. It's just like, it's great. Yeah. So, love it. I think you should, and please get in the chat to comment if you think Eileen should be turning 31. Because I feel like this year was just whatever. Like,
you be the judge. We'll decide together.
Time and age is meaningless. So that is so great. Well, there was a lot of votes on my Instagram to wear the gold crop top, but I had to go with a wine because I'm going to have a glass of wine. This will be my first drink. So
we're very jewel tones. We're very jewel tones tonight.
We are. We're just very goth, and I'm feeling very The Craft original.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I bind you, Nancy.
yes. I'm feeling very I bind you, Nancy. And look at this top.
Yeah.
So cheers. Love
cheers to you,
see it.
all of you out there.
Girl, I'm obsessed with this topic. I'm obsessed with your Luke.
Oh, thank you. Well, girl, before we get into that, let me just pause because I didn't get a chance to ask you yet. How are you doing this week, girl?
Oh, girl, I am here. Queer. You know, we're here. We're queer. Yeah. I'm trying to get used to it. I'm good. I actually had a really fun time doing this week's dish.
Oh, I can't wait to show all of you at home the dish. Brooke made us a delightful something, and you just let me know when you're ready for me to...
Let's do it. Get me on the dish cam. I'm ready.
All right, you ready for the dish cam?
I'm ready for the dish.
All right, now let me put on my spectacles because Grandma's a little blind.
Oh my God. But Grandma's also so sexy.
Oh, thank you. It's so confusing. Confusing on levels. Yeah. All right, so you're on the dish cam. Give us the rundown. What are we looking at today?
All right, so I did my great-grandmother's chocolate chip cookies. Check it out.
Recipe. Beautiful. Gorgeous. Bring them in just a little bit closer. Yes. Oh, got that focus. Give me a chip.
Love it. So there's a lot of different ways to do chocolate chip cookies. And really, my grandmother, so two things. My grandmother was a chain-smoking badass Spaniard. Her name was Jeanette San Pedro. And she was so cool. I love that name. She was great. Her and my Aunt Carmen, raised us. And they both had husbands who died young. Who knows what happened there. And they just lived into spinster realness through their 90s together, just calling each other every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And my great grandmother was always the one to say, don't marry anyone. Don't worry about it. Men only want you for their cooking and their laundry.
I mean, were they wrong? Where's the lie? Tell me where's
the lie? We're still looking. So she smoked from the age of 10 and on.
10? Oh my God.
Oh yeah, she started smoking cigarettes at 10. She was like
just a smoking newsie on the news corner. Like,
right, yes.
Extra.
She was like, she's like, this is the worst habit, don't take it up. And she's like, I love them. But my sister pranked me when I was a little girl and told me that because my grandmother smoked so much, these cookies caused lung cancer.
Oh God.
And I didn't eat them for like 2 straight weeks. So shout out to the older sisters out there who played pranks. My sister is the queen of pranks. And I was a chubby bunny, so I wanted these cookies as a kid. I didn't eat them for like 2 straight weeks. And finally my mom was like, what's going on? And I was like, I think I have cancer from the cookies. And my sister got grounded.
Oh girl, you don't need a reason to want cookies. So
no, they're delicious. So here's the key about cookies. And this goes for most batter that I've ever made cookies with, especially something when you're adding chunks. I didn't do nuts with this because the person I was making them for did not want nuts. But you'll notice they're still pretty heavy in terms of, I'm tall, right? Because if there's no nuts, usually they flatten out.
Yeah. Looks like they rose a little bit more.
The key is don't use any machines. The rule is if you have an old recipe from a grandmother, they didn't have machines. You don't either. Don't use a mixer. Don't use a blender. Don't use anything like that. You have to go by hand.
Huh.
I'm sure the Rona is killed off in the 350 bake. We'll find out. And you have to do that. And 2, always, always, always beat your eggs before you fold them in.
Yes.
Really, really key as well. So I did a basic chocolate chip cookie, no nuts. But I treated myself to some very fancy, high-end, like semi-sweet morsels. Because Ghirardelli was on sale, and we have nothing else to live for.
Yeah, no, I love Ghirardelli. Hey, like, the world's on fire. Get yourself some Ghirardelli chips.
So I'm about to have cookies and wine for dinner, so let's get this going.
Yes.
And I made these, and I still haven't tried them.
Really? Oh, this is a magical moment then. First bite.
Saved them. All right.
Looks like they're soft. Looks like they have a bite, but they not like, I didn't see a crunch there. It looks like they sort of peeled off a little bit, which is nice. Baking is all chemistry, which is, I think it's a little bit more difficult, like with the leeway. You get a little bit less leeway than when I like a 1-pan dish, like we talked about last time with the Mongolian beef. I like to stir it all up and have it be done. But if you screw something up, just add a tablespoon of cornstarch. You'll be fine. Whatever it is.
It's so accurate, and I'm not really great with the baking thing. I just have like a couple recipes I always go to. Also, a big difference in this one, I used raw sugar, which I
like Demerara.
I know, I know that a lot of bakers don't like it, but I love it. So, cheers.
I worked with that queen, Demerara Jones.
You did?
No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I just thought that'd be a great drag name.
That would be a great drag name.
Demerara. Isn't that really pretty?
Like mine, Cookie Tips.
Cookie Tips. Just the tips.
See what it sounds like? All right. So, speaking of it being all chemistry.
Yes. All chemistry. That's girl. That's another good answer to the riddle.
Comedy. We have to talk about what cookies and one night stands have in common. Yes, get comfortable, girl. Get comfortable. Okay.
I'm not going anywhere.
Literally no one's going anywhere. So we can obviously talk about one night stands. Yes. What do cookies and one night stands have in common? They're all about chemistry.
They're easy to ruin.
Everyone thinks they have the right recipe.
And no one does.
And no one does.
If you thought of another response, or if you thought of another answer to the riddle, please let us know in the chat, because it's kind of like, why is a raven like a writing desk? It's sort of just like a rhetorical question that doesn't have an answer. But
that we loved pretending to answer all week.
Yes.
Girl, your one night stand stories are so incredibly epic. And usually your one night stand stories usually line up with like some epic lesbian fail for me. Because we're so bad at one night stands. I remember the night you had the most amazingly harrowing one night stand, and I was trying to match you. And I just was like getting dipped and dodged by all these lesbians who were like, no, we'll go on like 8 dates and find ourselves. And I was like, I don't have this kind of time.
Do you want to start with that story?
Girl, we have to start with that story. It's the
Okay.
best story. It starts at a lesbian Halloween party and it ends in a graveyard.
Yeah,
It's the
that's the
spookiest
graveyard
story.
It is. It was the most on theme, like holiday themed one night stand I've ever had in my life.
Oh yeah. If anyone's ever had a holiday themed one night stand, shouts out, get in the chat because that's next level.
Let us know. Birthday clown realness. No, it wasn't a birthday clown. Anyway, so let me just walk it back. So we're gonna go out to a friend of yours has a Halloween house party. And this is kind of a Halloween look, so you could imagine, like, I think I was actually dressed like a flapper that night because, we look like we're creative, but, we've got a repertoire. So anyway, it was a flapper Luke. We went out to your friend's house. I was in the Halloween mood, too, because there were cobwebs, there were skeletons, there were pumpkins, lights. I mean, they really decorated that house really well. And I was having a great time, having a great night, and I was texting with someone from one of the apps. I don't know if it was, like, it's probably like Tinder or OkCupid.
JackO'Lantern.com.
JackO'Lantern.com. Yep. Pumpkin King.
He should be saved as Jack-O-Lantern in your phone, and I am upset if he's not.
Yeah, he was like a Mike or a James. They're all Mike or James.
But they're all Mike or James.
Yeah, and they all sell tractors.
Magnolias. Yeah. They're all named Mark, Rick, or Steve.
Girl, you can take the girl out of the rough trade, but you can't take the rough trade out of the girl. So do you sell tractors?
I'm such a sucker for a tractor salesman.
Yeah. I was on doyouselltractors.com, and I was talking to Mike, and he was texting me about what he was up to that evening. And I am a big fan. Okay, this is controversial yet brave, as we like to be on.
Brave.
Yeah, as we like to be on this channel. That's a Trixie Mattel thing. I wish that was mine. We're controversial yet brave. I like a solicited dick pic. I don't know how you feel about this, but I like it only if it's solicited.
No, that is.
That's kind of the thing, right? Yeah.
That is it, yes.
I don't like to be surprised by it, but if it's like, oh, well, I mean, I wouldn't say no, like, then it's fine,
I mean, fine. I can't even think of a time when it's solicited, but, like, I hear you. I'm just like, no, even then, there's such few moments where I'm like, this is the time.
Right. Well, that's actually a really good point. But so, we had gotten to the point where we were, like, let's say we were, like, getting a little bit heated over text. You know what I mean? That's the stage we were at. So it was good. Like, there was a very, like, spirited exchange. I like how when I am trying to talk about sex and I know other people are listening, I like talk in old-timey grammar terms, which is also very, like, visually on brand, so just go with it.
Yeah, you're like, we were just talking about each other's nether regions. Also, Penny is chewing a bone so loud near me. Can you hear it?
No, I can't hear it.
Oh, good, because she's living her best life. One day we'll feature the loaf, but oh my God, I'm sorry. This is off brand. Anyway, so okay.
No, it's okay. So we had letters.
Hot and heavy.
Yes, we had exchanged letters of correspondence, and so I got a dick pic in the middle of a Halloween party, and I was like, ah! I screamed a little bit, and I was like, I have to keep that to myself. And so then I was like, what are you doing later? So I checked in with you. I was like, are you good? You were like, yeah, I'm gonna stick around. You were trying to make something happen. We weren't sure if it was gonna happen or not.
This is the most tragic one night stand story. I'm not gonna tell it.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, here's the information I have. Like, I do the thing where I check in with you with the coffin emoji. I'm like, here's where the body's going to be buried. You know what I mean? And again, we laugh about it because, there are situations of real danger here. We're not trying to make light of that, but, like, you got to laugh at it because it's
processing
absurd.
Trauma is coffin emojis are necessary for processing trauma. I don't make the rules.
Yeah. So I met up with Mike, and in his car, which was maybe not the most responsible decision, but he picked me up from the party. We drove around, and then it was like, well, I can't have you over because I can't remember why he couldn't come over to our place, but I think someone was staying with us or something. There was some, like, my place isn't going to work. And then it was like, oh, my place isn't going to work either because my sister's staying with us. So I was like, what are we going to do? And then he goes, I know a really great graveyard close to where I live that...
Red flag.
Yeah. I know a really great graveyard.
So many red flags.
Yeah.
This is like you're a golden retriever jumping into a pile of autumn leaves, but it's red flags. That's what you did.
And they're like, yeah. They just scatter.
And you just love it.
Yeah. And I've just got a blindfold on because I'm just trying not to look at them.
Yep.
But I was like, well, the moon is high and it's All Hallows Eve. It's the, like, let's get in that graveyard. So, girl, I don't kiss and tell completely. But I will say it was a very cold experience. Because I was dressed like a flapper.
In a graveyard.
In a graveyard on Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
So that was one of the most memorable, probably.
Here's
moments.
what I love about that story. First of all, that you're home safe. But second of all,
I love that too.
I love that story is the ramp up for this one night stand was such in juxtaposition to my ramp up for this one night stand that I was trying to make happen that night that didn't fucking happen. I have been texting with this girl for like 8 months.
You were in the long haul.
Oh my God. And it was the photos and it was the this and it was the that. And I was like, and oh my God, they're just like, I was like, what is it about me?
Yeah. And for me, it was like, hey, you want to go have sex with a ghost? Like, done.
Yes, and that's the vibe I'm always looking for on Halloween.
Yeah.
Real talk. I always line up Halloween's with my birthday, so right around Halloween, I'm always feeling myself.
Mm-hmm.
That is when I'm at my most dangerous. I'm just like
that's when I'm not to be trusted.
Right. That's why I dress like goth Wednesday Addams mixed with Pugsley Addams. Yikes.
Girl, no. Girl,
oh
listen. You can't tell me anything. I love that look.
I know you do.
I love the side
know you
ponytails.
do.
I love that big gold choker you have on.
I do like that big gold choker.
It's delightful.
I kept that, and it really only holds up in dim lighting, and I'm like, yep. I'm going to keep wearing it, girl. I might spray paint it with gold. That's where we're at. That's where we're at emotionally. So.
Anytime there's a blood moon, you and I will be in the same coven. I'll roll out with these Cupid doll lips, whatever the hell this is that I think
love
looks
that. Good. The funny thing about my one... What kind of fish is Eileen tonight? Comment in the chat. What kind of fish?
The doll that came alive. You know what I mean?
I feel like you have very dolphin vibes tonight.
Really?
Like if I was going to take a dolphin to a Great Gatsby themed party.
Well, it is Velvet's very sleek. You know, it's very aerodynamic. So you could see me like diving over the ocean waves, maybe.
Yes, very sensual marine mammal. Here's the thing about my one night stand stories is now I'm putting together they are all around Halloween because I'm always feeling myself around my birthday, which is a real also red flag. So don't contact me the month of October. Risky business.
Boop or do.
Do. So okay, my one night stand story is another fail. Like it's another fail. We were out for Halloween. Oh my God, girl. So we were out for Halloween.
Yeah.
And you were probably in a flapper costume, probably getting all the attention, which is fabulous. I know what I'm getting into when I go out with Eileen Galvin. You should too. It doesn't matter how sexy and how glamorous you look. First of all, you got to leave your jealousy at home, put it in a little box. It's not going to serve you. It doesn't serve you. You have to worship what is in front of you.
Oh, girl.
It is so fun. It is so fun. But I'm going to put all this stuff and I'm going to be blah, blah, blah. And then like you come down in like 2 hankies and a merkin. And I'm like, well, I couldn't do that, you know?
Handkerchief.
And by the way, pull it off.
Yeah, I pulled the curtains off the rod and sewed them into play clothes so I could like traipse around Vienna with the Von Trapp children.
You mean to tell me my children have been running around the countryside in old drapes? Yes, and having a marvelous time.
Julie Mandrews.
We've gone off the rails. And Christopher Plummer just died.
Did he?
The original daddy.
Oh, yeah. OG daddy.
OG acoustic guitar playing widower daddy.
Oh, I had such a crush on him when I was a kid. Didn't even know it. Keep
If
me
he
in
was
line.
If he was a trans man, I would have had a crush on him, but...
So anyway, we're out on Halloween. Where were we?
So we were at like a college party because I was going through something.
Oh my God, I must have been too.
Oh my God. And it was like a house party and there was a basement where like people were hanging out for real. It wasn't ironic. And it was absolutely terrifying. We were way overdressed.
Well, for college party, we were dressed.
Oh my
and
God,
everyone else was not.
And this guy walked me home. And again, I'm like talking about this like we're at church. And we started hooking up, and then he initiated, but who wouldn't? Look at this, look at all this. You know what I mean? It was consensual. And he then, in the middle of everything, before anything even happened, flipped out, told me he was a born again Christian, accused me of seducing him.
Oh my gosh!
And then me being,
I remember that.
I'm an idiot. Sat down with him and was like, "Hey, if God's real, which by the way is not a good way to start with a Christian.
Oof. And if that's where the starting, because you want to meet somewhere where they're at, and if that's where the starting point is, it's like, oh, where are we going to really get to from here?
It didn't go great.
But please,
I was like, if God's
continue.
real, if Jesus is, a real person, I looked at him dead ass serious at like 3 a.m. We're both drunk, and I was like, if God's real, wouldn't he want you to have great sex? I like Dan Savaged him.
Yes.
I was like,
yes.
I was like, this is logical. This makes sense. Oh, he left. I don't have bad luck getting laid on Halloween. I'm just discovering this. This is a real.
I'm sorry, but what I don't want you to take away from this moment particularly, but probably from all the other ones too, is that there's something wrong with you. Which I know you don't think that, but like all of you at home too. If like you're like, hey, I'm trying and it's not working out for me. Listen, it's just not the right moment. It might not be the right person, but like, you're a beautiful dolphin.
And that is you are a beautiful dolphin. Don't get that velvet wet though, girl.
No. This does not withstand moisture.
Land dolphin.
Yeah. Land dolphin.
Was that a dolphin noise? It was. I love that. And I think that's actually a good, because I think when I was younger, it was like, oh, it's me, blah, 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 blah. And I'm in a different place with it where I'm like, I don't care if it was me. Mm-hmm. But in that particular case, it wasn't me, it was Jesus. Also, my mom got me this wine stopper, and I think we can all agree what it is for real.
We talked about it, that you featured the wine stopper on a previous episode, and There's
so many wine openers.
Yeah, I thought it was very reminiscent of one of the whatchamacallits in Ariel's human cave. Where she
has I thought I'll bring on another one next week, one of the butt plug ones.
Yeah, it also looks kind of like a shell, like a nautilus shell.
But it's a butt plug. So.
I love the way you said, look at this stuff. What does it do? I have to admit, we talked about this earlier, Brooke, but I have to come out to you as a fellow fan of Covered Dish, because I do rewatch old episodes sometimes while I'm doing other things, and when you go, look at this stuff, what does it do? I just crack up. I can't handle it.
Oh my God, girl, that is so funny. I'm really grateful I got to tell that one night stand story. I technically isn't a one night stand, so I'm gonna pass it back to you because I'm sure you have another dish about.
I've got one in the hopper. I've got one.
Girl, you always have one in the hopper around tractor salesmen. Talk to me.
I'm like,
what is happening?
Yeah, who hurt you? And also, do you need a tractor? Do you just need one?
This goes back to, and this can be a separate conversation, and it should be, the blue collar fetish that like we grew up on in movies like Roadhouse and Dirty Dancing.
That we share, by the way.
Well, yeah, it's a bit of a problem, but it is seriously like, it does not make any sense. Like if you watch the plot to Roadhouse, it's like an ER doctor who's breaking all these barriers in the glass ceiling. And she leaves her job at the ER to go like save a part-time bouncer who is never there for her.
So empowering.
Anyways, we've all dated him. We've all dated Dalton from Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Who's your Dalton?
Who's my Dalton? There was a guy whose actual name was Dalton one time.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, no. So let me say, I guess the Dalton that I actually had a one night stand with, his name was Luke. But there was a Dalton who I was attracted to.
There was an actual Dalton.
There was an actual Dalton.
Well, all right. So tell the one night stand story you were going to say, and also there's too many Daltons in your life.
Too many Daltons.
You gotta cut some up.
I do love the name Dalton. It's like such a place and a time, and it's Roadhouse.
Oh my God.
That is the place and time. Okay, so the story that I have is this is actually a very cautionary tale. This is where I learned a very valuable lesson, and this is the one that you're really mad at me for. Which, totally you were totally justified in that anger. I learned a lot from that night, and I will not repeat those mistakes. So let me tell you what those were. We went to Dick's Den.
We went to Dick's Den because I was talking to a guy in a band who had a fiance, and I didn't know it. Again, big strikeout for me. Go.
Had a what, did you say?
He had a fiance.
Oh, a fiance. I thought you said he had a Beyonce, and I was like, what does that mean? No.
I mean, if he had a Beyonce,
he had a Beyonce. No. So he had a fiance. Yeah, that is a definite red flag too. But
I didn't know.
Yeah. So that's okay. Like you can't control what you didn't know. But anyway, we went to Dick's Den. Were you also performing, or were we just? No, we were going there for someone else's performance for the band.
We were dancing and making everyone uncomfortable because no one could figure out our relationship because we were dancing together. Because everyone in there was 50 and over.
Yeah.
And very cis and awesome. I loved Extend.
Yeah.
But it was a vibe.
Well, and also, you know, when Jane and Harold dance at, you know, Dick's Den from the Burbs, it's you know, it's like very controlled movement. And when you and I dance, it's like...
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because that's the vocabulary. That's the dance vocabulary that we have.
And we dance, I would say, much more like closely, more intimately than in that environment. Like in queer dance clubs, the way we dance is like friends.
Yes.
But I think in those environments, we look like we're much closer than we would seem compared to the cis folks.
Yeah, we look like gay characters dance in movies where it's not allowed for gay relationships to be overt.
Yes, and we're like, we're at prom and we don't care.
Yeah, so like when we shimmy at each other and we make eye contact for 1.5 seconds too long, everyone thinks we're married.
Right, and they're just like, oh, okay. Yeah. Which one goes to Home Depot? And I'm like, we both do.
They're like, I hope they're keeping in touch with the babysitter and the kids are okay. You know what I mean? Yes. Like, that's probably the, like, fan fiction, like, what people are thinking about us, which I'm actually okay with. I love that. Yeah. But, so anyway, back to the story. We were at Dick's Den. You were hanging out with your friend. I saw this very, very tall daddy over at the bar. Like, just silver fox. Everything was, like, you know, like, just white. Everything was just white. Hair, I mean.
And skin.
He was also white, but like white hair, white goatee, very, very tall. And I was just like, I'm going to go see if I can strike up a conversation with that person, you know, just for fun. So it turns out he told me he was a sommelier. So of course I pulled out every little bit of wine trivia that I thought I knew. I don't know anything about wine, like for real.
Me neither.
So it was very funny. And he was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like you've read an article about wine, I guess. And I was like, I sure did.
I was on a JetBlue flight once and there was a magazine
about wine. Yeah. Oh my God. So, yeah. So anyway, we were talking and then we made out at the bar, which was super hot. We did that for a few minutes. And then it was like, hey, do you want to get out of here? And I was like, oh, sure. So I checked in with you. You know the drill. Checked in with you. I was like, oh, I'm going to, you know, I'm gonna go with Steve. We'll see where this goes. Okay, great. So we get out to his car and I'm like, okay, you know, we're checking in with ourselves. Do we feel safe? Yeah, we feel safe. At the time, I felt safe. This is not...
Because I asked you, does he know your situation? And you said yes, because you did have a short conversation at the bar.
No, we didn't.
Oh, you didn't?
Nope.
Stressing the shit out, girl? Yeah. Even now?
We didn't have a conversation. And by the way, if you don't know what I mean by the conversation, we'll get to that in just a second. So we get in the car, we're driving down 315, and I decide that is the point when I'm going to disclose.
Oh my God.
What I like to call it my plumbing or the configuration of my body.
Yeah, plumbing is great.
Yeah.
Whatever you want is great. I like calling it plumbing. Right. Because I'll be like, I'm with, when I try to explain who I'm with, I'm like, plumbing isn't relevant to me. And people really, straight people really get plumbing. They're like, no.
Yeah. It's also a very butch thing. So if you're like, if you're with butch people, plumbing is like, oh, okay, I got it.
Infuriating.
But anyway, so I decided that was the moment when I was going to be like, oh, hey, I present in a very feminine way, but I'm trans-identified and I have male genitalia. I was assigned male at birth. But you knew all that, right? That was the mistake. So I was like, you all know that, right? And he's like gripping onto the steering wheel with both hands and he's like, no. And that's when like the blood runs kind of cold and you're like, now I don't feel safe, right? The moment of now I don't feel safe. And I was like, cool, so what are we doing here? And he was like, well, no, this is good. Let's go back to my house. It's fine. And I was like, well, you're the one with the steering wheel, so I guess we're going where you want to go. And I did actually say that in that moment, I remember, because I was like, let me just make it really clear that you're the one with all the power here.
Right. And that, like, you're not hurting my feelings.
Yes, and I actually would like to go home at this point.
Right.
And so he, in that, like, it would have played out differently now. He was like, no, let's go back to my place. I was like, okay, we can go back to your place and talk. That was the level I was at.
Yeah.
So I get there and I'm like, okay, cool. He's got pictures of his family. Great. I don't see any like bloody axes hanging on the wall. Okay, cool.
Which is usually what people do. So that's good. Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, I'll be right back. And I'm like texting you like, oh my God, Brooke. You know?
Oh my God. And I'm like, why didn't you get out of the car? Get out of the car. Get out of the car.
Right. Like dive and roll, girl. Dive and roll.
Because I picked you up. I picked you up. We both picked each other up on the side of 315. No judgment. Different conversation. Keep going.
So, just to make a long story short, some very, very initial things like, you know, he had no experience with people who had my bodily configuration before. And that's not really fun for anybody, generally. I mean, people losing their virginity. And this was
supposed to be fun. Like, this is supposed to be a fun, frivolous one-night stand. Yeah. This is not...
And you maybe didn't think that we were going to go deep, but if you longtime viewers know this channel... I can't say long-time viewers. It's been 9 episodes, but like...
Girl, it's been a lot of episodes!
But fan kicks! But we get into some stuff. So, like, the whole point of one-night stands is that it's supposed to make you feel like you're in control and it's supposed to be fun. So if those two things don't line up for you, like, find your out, you know? And it's really hard when you're young to like, express your boundaries, especially if you're a woman or female identified. It's like... to find the no is really difficult sometimes, but like find the no, because sometimes you got to get out of there. So anyway, I did get out of there. He drove me home. It was all fine. He asked for my number. I gave him a fake one, and I was like, let's not do that again. And the lesson I learned from that is, girl, everyone's line is different with this. Everyone's comfort level is different. My line and what I recommend is you have to tell people, you have to disclose before you leave a public space. You have to, because I do not want to be in that situation again where I'm in a stranger's car and I'm like, oh shit, I should have said something earlier. Because I just assumed that like, oh, you know what's going on with you, right?
Yeah.
Turns out he didn't. Yeah. So. Whew. So I wouldn't say you were like seriously mad at me for that one, but you were like, girl, don't you ever do that again. And I was like.
Here's to your vulnerability in this conversation. Cheers. Bravo. Or as we say at the opera, Yahtzee. And, you know, I think for me Penny is being an asshole. 1 second.
Oh, Penny. Get her on the cam.
Get her on the cam.
Get her on the cam.
Girl, Penny. she's gonna have her own episode. The loaf is being a jerk.
I'm like talking down on the side as if she's here with me too. Like,
she's right there.
Yeah.
She's so mad at me. I took away her bone. Which is exactly what happens to me every Halloween. You know, I think one of the things is I was very mad at you because I was so worried about you. And I think I was like, you know, I think looking back on that, what I could have also learned is to ask better questions before you left and kind of support you in whatever your decision was. Of course, it's your life. But I was also wrapped up in my own shit that night. So I could have been like, hey, how about I drive you? Or, you know what I mean? Like, there were other ways I could have supported you by being like, you know what I mean? But I think it was also this situation where I was like, I didn't really know. You know, in that moment, there's so many things you can look back and do.
Yeah. And you thought I had disclosed when we left.
Yeah.
When I hadn't actually.
Because I think it was just kind of like you said something about like your cookie box or something. You made a joke.
Yeah,
and if he was a different generation, it would have been a different conversation. Or I don't know, different whatever. Maybe not generation. I'm not trying to say old people don't know about trans people. Chill out, everyone.
They do after I'm done with them.
Yeah. Fucking fast.
Oh, God.
Just call my mom.
Can we not cut that one out? Can we not keep
just
that
cut
one?
It out?
Oh, we're live? Okay.
Can we do a poll?
Everyone vote in the chat. Everyone vote.
In the poll in the chat. Someone do a poll.
Someone do a poll.
Someone do a poll. Girl, and I think that's the thing about that level of vulnerability in that space is it's so hard. I have to tell like one night stand story that worked out, but I don't know if I can. Anyways,
ooh, dish.
I want everyone to get in the chat. Thoughts on 69ing on a one night stand?
Okay, why not?
I hear you. I hear you on
if
that.
If you're gonna open the all I could think of was a Pringle can. I'm sorry. If you're gonna open the can of Pringles,
keep going with this. I want you to go all the way with this. Go all the way with this metaphor. Keep going.
No, that was it. Just eat as many chips as you want. Like
if you're gonna pop open that can of Pringles, here's the thing about 69ing.
Okay.
Shouts.
Okay.
Anatomy-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anatomy-wise.
Yeah.
When you 69 with someone who also has a vagina, so it's two vaginas.
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Denise, thank you, Denise. Denise is backing me up. First of all, she says I would be terrified. Thank you. It was okay. But Denise says, I agree. Why not? That's what I was trying to say with that stupid Pringle metaphor. Why not? So tell us why not.
Someone posted Pringles meme. No, here's the thing. Yes, and to that, My point is, all right, just hear me out. You are nose to asshole. Okay, I'm serious. Like I just want you to think.
I'm gonna need a sip for that.
I don't make the rules. Okay.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. So you're nose to asshole. I'm back. I'm in it.
Maybe it was spontaneous. Maybe you didn't know what was going to happen. Maybe you were really feeling yourself and you were all prepped and ready to go. But it is and maybe whatever. And maybe you danced, got sweaty for 4 hours, and maybe they're into it.
Oh yeah.
My point is that the the nuance of the 69 and the comfortability takes away from what a one night stand is supposed to be, which is that joyful, frivolous fun. Which you could say, I don't care what my asshole smells like, because guess what? This is all just good, clean fun. Well, not so clean. And we're just all having a good time, which I totally hear. I just think typically it's like in a partnership where you're like, hey, this is the position I want to do. What do you need to do to be comfortable with this position tonight? Yeah. Which I love that conversation. And there's a way to do it sexily. So it's not like, clean your butthole. Do you know what I'm saying? Which also is very sexy to say. So I am just going to pause here because I am turning red.
Let me extrapolate a little bit. Let me just extrapolate.
Please let it be another Pringles metaphor.
No. We're done with crisps. But I think one night stands. What this all is telling me is that one night stands is a risk. That's the real takeaway for me. Is that, and it spans everything from how transphobic they are to like personal hygiene, right? It's everything. Yeah. Because when you're with your partner, you meet people, you maybe we should talk about the number of dates. But anyway.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But anyway, you have some time to work these things through when you're in a like relationship that spans over time. But with one night stands, it's like, let's roll the dice. Let's see what happens.
Right.
And so let me just do a shout out to safe sex practices for everybody, because we would be remiss. We'd be remiss on this channel if we did not say, make sure that you, PrEP is always a really affordable option for HIV prevention. Wear those condoms. Just because you're on PrEP doesn't mean you don't need to wear condoms. And be safe. Be safe about it. Also, and honestly, that's make sure you clean yourself out.
That's also the rights argument. That's the rights argument about PrEP. That PrEP shouldn't be around because then it decreases condom use. Prove the right wrong. Prove the alt-right crazy wrong.
That's ridiculous. Like, also stay in your lane, alt-right. Like, since when did the right start talking about condoms? In general.
It's the same reason they think women shouldn't be allowed to have birth control, because then they're going to be more promiscuous. It's the same argument, and it's infuriating, and it kills people and harms people and destroys their lives. Yes, we're super light on the dish.
We are. We're super light.
It's super cash.
It's a deep dish, as Felicia said.
It's always a deep dish. Mm-hmm. So speaking of deep dish, girl. Yeah. I think we should, if you can bring it up, preview debut our logo. So we are excited.
Yes. We're so excited.
We officially have social media. Mm-hmm. It is rolling out. Shouts to Laura Sanders. We will tag her in all of the things. She is a graphic designer based in NOLA. Shout out New Orleans, surviving the pandemic. And she is absolutely amazing. And she is a woman-owned business because she is one woman who owns a business. If you like our graphic design and want to use Laura, reach out to me. I'll send you her contact info. She's a boss bitch. Yes. So can you unveil our logo?
I can't unveil it because I don't have an overlay that is specifically for.
Oh, okay.
I just have the Zoom overlay. But if you look at the same YouTube channel link, previously it was my personal YouTube channel, but because I work in IT, I was able to figure out how to seamlessly transition that into the Covered Dish YouTube channel. So if you go to our YouTube link, you will see our beautiful logo. Which we are rolling out on YouTube. We have an Instagram now that you can follow us at Covered Dish.
At Covered Dish! Mm-hmm. One word.
And starting next week, we are going to move away from streaming these on my personal Facebook page. However, we'll still be on Facebook on the Covered Dish Facebook page. So after we wrap up tonight, we're going to post that link so that you know where to follow us in the future. and you'll be able to see our branding on all of those places and keep up with us with all of your questions and comments and desires for dishes. We know you have desires.
We all have desires for dishes. So we are very excited about this. Please follow us on Instagram. We're going to be doing polls all week. We're going to be doing really fun collaborations with drag kings and burlesque performers. Mm-hmm. So stay tuned on that. Follow us on Instagram at Covered Dish. We're going to be doing more giveaways for mugs. So you have a million reasons to follow us, and we love Facebook, of course, but Instagram is definitely also a very friendly platform. So follow us on all three.
Well, we don't love Facebook, but
but Marky is listening. So,
oh my God, I love him.
Oh man, we'll definitely want to let us know what you think. We'd love your feedback as long as it's positive. We are very fragile right now. It's a pandemic.
Don't come for me. Don't come for me in my Pringles metaphors, okay? It was an impulse, just like this look.
Much like Pringles, if we can just say. I mean, no one is planning out Pringles. Another thing Pringles and one night stands have in common, and cookies. I'm going to eat these cookies.
Yeah. Ooh, get you
and finish my wine. Thank you so much. Shouts to Eileen Galvin, my beautiful, beautiful blowfish.
Oh, always shouts to Brooke Hardis.
An iridescent angel.
My beautiful, beautiful beatified saint. Yeah. Not canonized yet, but soon.
Because of the patriarchy.
Yes.
Call the Pope. Follow us on our new Facebook event, or our new Facebook page. Yes. Type in Covered Dish Eileen Brooke. It'll pop right up. Follow us on Instagram at Covered Dish. Obviously, follow us at Eileen Galvin Burlesque and Not Gay Isn't Happy with an underscore between each word, because you're a monster if you don't. And we will see you next week for the dish.
All right. See you next Tuesday at 7, my loves. Bye. Mwah.